Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. We're going to be sharing the latest on health and healing, always from peer-reviewed journals, information that can extend your life, help prevent disease, or help you if you have an existing condition. For example, from Tel Aviv University, which is in Israel, and a study done also with Columbia University in New York, asthma can be reduced by increasing vitamin D levels and consuming ginger. Yes, according to research published in the journal Allergy, doctors at both Tel Aviv University and Columbia analyzed data from more than 4 million Israelis that are members of the nation's largest healthcare provider, finding that 21,000 with asthma, those with vitamin D deficiency, were 25% more likely than other asthmatics to have at least one flare-up in the recent past. So vitamin D3 is one of the most important nutrients you can take to help with your respiratory infections, but also add in ginger, right? And this is also published in the Archives of Internal Medicine. Quote, vitamin D has significant immunomodulatory effects, and as such, was believed to have an effect upon asthma, an immunological mediated disease. Now just imagine this. Imagine that you wake up in the morning, you want to start your day with something really healthy. How about having some celery, cucumber, lemon, and ginger juice, and then throw in maybe 5,000 units, which is 1 tablet of vitamin D3. So that's important, and that's what this study shows. So again, we can moderate a lot of conditions if we pay attention to what we're consuming on a daily basis. And also, remember, that's something that's inexpensive. Now, from the University of Salford, which is in the United Kingdom, a natural matcha, that's M-A-T-C-H-A, green tea extract, was found to effectively kill breast cancer cells. Now, if you were to Google green tea, its medicinal benefits, or green tea, its health benefits, you would find thousands of studies, all in PubMed, which is the government's official repository for high-quality research. And a recent study carried out by the University of Salford has found that one kind of green tea in particular, called matcha, can kill breast cancer cells effectively. So scientists at the university's Biomedical Research Center used a simple process, and they discovered that matcha shifted cancer cells towards a different metabolic state, which allowed them to not spread and cause them to die. So why not have a cup of matcha green tea each morning? And this was done by the University of Salford's professor of translational medicine. So good. Again, something we can count upon that we have in our own control. Now, inflammation in midlife is linked to brain shrinkage later, according to Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. People who show signs of inflammation in, let's say, 35 to 40 are more likely to suffer from brain shrinkage later in life. That's a definite precursor to dementia or Alzheimer's disease. The findings are in the journal Neurology, and they're just the latest to uncover an association between dementia and inflammation, in which the body's immune cells rev up in response to harms like smoking, stress, illness, or poor diet. So I think it's very important that we learn the lesson. Now, what is the lesson? The lesson is to just take a look at all the things you consume. Pizzas, hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries, potato chips, cakes, barbecued foods, all of that is pro-inflammatory. Alcohol is exceptionally pro-inflammatory in any amount. That means that your brain, your esophagus, your stomach, your heart, your liver and kidneys, all of them are going to be damaged to some degree. That is not to suggest that having a glass of wine is going to kill you. What it suggests is that any alcohol in any amount will cause some inflammation. Now, if you have a scotch or bourbon, tequila, you're at high levels of alcohol, in which case you're going to kill a lot of cells, as many as a brain, a million cells gone in your brain alone. But you have billions of cells in your brain or more. So you think, okay, I got time. Not true. No one knows when that day will come when you have more damage than you have the capacity to repair. Something that we have not seen before as adult ADHD has become epidemic. And this is from the University of California, Berkeley. It's known as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in growing up. The trouble is that there are a lot of things that can lead to this, including many of the different ingredients in vaccines like mercury and formaldehyde, polysorbate 80, aluminum. And the more vaccines, the more problematic you can have a neurological condition. But that's only part of it. Also part of it is we have a nation today, a whole generation that has grown up waking up in the morning to coffee. And not even just regular coffee, but a lot of the high caffeinated beverages like the espressos. Then you have all your energy drinks, which are loaded with caffeine. So when a person starts to get a little drowsy, a little fatigued, a little out of focus, they just have another shot of caffeine. All this overstimulates the central nervous system, exhausts the adrenal glands, and gives you that up and down roller coaster effect. So then people throw in some sugar. The more sugar you get, for 5 or 6 minutes or so, you'll have an energy boost. Then it plummets down below normal. So you have that high and then low. All this then leads to the symptoms of ADHD. And that is unfortunate. Now here's where I'm a little different than some of the other people out there talking about ADHD and ADD, of which we now think we have at least 10 million children that have this diagnosis. Now we're getting to where adults are having it. It was 10 years ago that I invited members of my audience who had children who had been diagnosed with ADHD for a study. The first day, all the children came with their parents, and it was just a mess. They were bouncing off the walls. So thereafter, just the parents came. And we had about, at one point, over 100 parents. And some were medical doctors. One woman in particular, her and her husband are both physicians, and she's also a professor. She has 3 boys, and she says in the morning they just bounce off the walls. So we started going through a process of elimination. The first step is to get rid of all sugars, artificial sweeteners, everything that is a human-made sugar. What was allowed was stevia, coconut sugar, because that does not raise the glycemic level much, as what is known as a low glycemic response. So your blood sugar is not going to spike up. And also some raw manuka honey, but only a small amount. Then we got rid of all dairy. Now people could still have cottage cheese and different types of dairy, but not from a cow. Came from rice, almonds, cashews, coconut. So it was dairy-free dairy. Then they gave up all meats and chicken, fish, everything. Refined carbohydrates, frequently which are rich in gluten, which can cause a lot of inflammation and allergies. And so then after the process of elimination, which took about 2 months, because you can't do it all at once, especially with children, then they started getting more and more fresh fruits and vegetables. They'd get a smoothie where the parents would throw a handful of nuts, different one each day for a week, walnuts one day, almonds another day, into a smoothie. They put a handful of hemp seeds, flax seeds, organic. They would put plant-based protein. They would also put a teaspoon of extra virgin organic olive oil and a teaspoon of coconut oil. So they're getting all their fatty acids and essential fats, but from healthy sources. They would then put in some vegetables and fruits and berries, and that would be their breakfast. For snacks, they had fresh fruits. And then they had a nice lunch, with seaweeds that helps their thyroid gland, gives them sea minerals. And they also had starchy vegetables like rutabaga or parsnips, turnips, and even sweet potatoes and yams. They would have a grain like a brown rice or millet or quinoa. They would then have, on alternating days, for breakfast, they could also have still cut oatmeal. That's not the processed instant oatmeal. It takes 5 minutes to cook. But in that, they would put some fruits and berries, bananas, and their protein. And then they would give them certain small meal for dinner. But there was always a sense of fullness, satiety. No one felt starved or deprived. But no more junk food. If they were hungry at night, they would get some organic popcorn, or they would have some ice lemonade. And by putting some ice in a blender, so it was more like one of those little freezies, that does not impact the blood sugar level, which means they can get a better night's sleep. All electromagnetic appliances were taken away. They could not have anything that was electromagnetic pulsing, because it also overstimulates the central nervous system in the brain. And there are over 10,000 studies in the scientific literature showing its dangers. So they got a good night's sleep. Those who had trouble would take a little bit of melatonin or some non-caffeinated green tea, which has theanine in it. And theanine at 200 milligrams really allows a person to just chill out. If they couldn't still sleep, because they were used to staying up late and talking on the phone or using their notepads, they would then put on some music of rainfall, thunderstorms, rain hitting a tin roof. That'll put them to sleep. It'll put anybody to sleep very quickly. Well, at the end of this study, 93% were no longer diagnosable with ADHD. The symptoms were gone. So a cleansing of the body, detoxifying, and then of course there were nutrients, B-complex in particular, and a particular type of magnesium for the brain was good. So giving the body what it needs, both in the full diet and juicing, lots of fresh made orange juice, grapefruit juice, lemonade, iced tea. They could have that all they wanted. And we reversed it. It was interesting that the first person to speak on the final night, with all the children there, was the medical doctor. And she talked about how over a period of time, as the body detoxified and they got rejuvenated and they were calmer and they took some meditation classes, that they were completely different. They did work around the house. They focused on chores. They were supportive when they were all eating a meal together in the evening. That was also important. So you see, there are alternative approaches to different conditions, but there's no money in it. There's no drug for it. So we're going to keep on doing the same thing. Now, from the University of Calgary, Department of Oncology, a study shows clear new evidence of a mind-body connection, which means that there is a big impact you can have with meditation and positive support groups, and that can actually impact the cellular level in breast cancer survivors. So for the first time, researchers have shown that practicing mindfulness meditation or being involved in a support group has a positive physical impact at the cellular level in breast cancer survivors. This was done at the University of Calgary Department of Oncology, and it demonstrated that telomeres, T-E-L-O-M-E-R-S-E-S, which is a protein complex at the end of chromosomes, maintains their length in breast cancer survivors who practice meditation or are involved in support groups, while they shorten in comparison to a group without intervention. So meditation, mindful meditation, taking walks in green space or blue space, by the beach, by a lake, by a river. These are all very important as part of our psychosocial interventions. Being around people who are positive-minded, saying no to gossipers. Recently, someone called me to gossip about someone, and I said, stop. You should know that I don't allow gossip. If you have an issue with someone, call them and tell them that you have an issue and that something they did or said made you feel uncomfortable and you want to deal with it. If for some reason that person doesn't want to engage in that, then call me and I will be a moderator of that so you can get behind that. But just gossiping doesn't change anything. And it's a negative energy. And then we hold on to that negativity. So process problems to have closure. And by the way, that was published in the journal Cancer, where at least 88 breast cancer survivors who had completed their treatments for 3 months were involved in the mindful meditation. Very positive outcome. So mindful-based cancer recovery is a reality, no matter what others who are cynical of anything with energy intervention. And it is an energy intervention. And finally, from Green Med Info, lion's mane mushroom is good for your brain and your neural health. Lion's mane mushrooms, with their shaggy mane-like spines, stand out among fungi, not only for their appearance, but their mild, sweet, seafood-flavored taste. Like other mushrooms, lion's mane are multifaceted healers with antimicrobial, antihypertensive, anti-diabetic, and wound-healing properties among their many therapeutic properties. Of the 68 diseases and conditions that lion's mane's mushroom may support, many of them relate to the nervous system, including cognitive decline, memory, dementia, depression, anxiety, and sleep disorders. While along comes lion's mane mushroom, it contains more than 35 different natural phytonutrients called polysaccharides that can help prevent or treat cancer, gastric ulcers, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, liver injury, and neurodegenerative diseases. That's according to the article published in the International Journal of Biological Macromolecules. And by the way, there are dozens of mushrooms that have been used in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine that help the brain, the central nervous system, and they work. So try to have mushrooms in your diet because they can help regenerate the nerves that have been damaged, and they boost cognitive function, and they're also beneficial just for overall brain health. They fight depression, which a lot of people have today. So it's just one of the best mushrooms you can put into your body. So improve mood, make sure you're getting all this, and live a longer life. And that's it for our health and nutrition segment. Let me explain that I haven't done a filmed video, a podcast like this in many months, but now I'm doing them again. And I'm only going to do the health and nutrition segment. And that's because we're dividing the program that I do every day at noon on Progressive Radio Network. That's PRN.Live. And a lot of people like different things. Some people like the health and nutrition. So we have put together hundreds of programs just on health and nutrition. Just what I just shared with you just now. And if you go to PRN.Live, you can see how to download it and enjoy them. If you don't want to hear anything, if you don't want the environmental issues or social justice issues or investigative reports or commentaries or essays, all of which I do, or unique guests, including Conversations with Remarkable Minds, it's a very diverse program. And that's way you can have this at any time you want. And it's free. And we have also on GaryNull.com, which you should be visiting, always new articles and videos. In fact, what we're putting up there now, I believe we just put 70 different videos up. These are short videos, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. They're non-controversial. These were filmed in my garden where I was showing people how to tend to the soil, how to grow watermelons and every kind of berry. Then in my orchards, showing you I have almost 30 different types of fruit I grow. And then there are photographs of me out in the garden just picking a giant bowl, this big, huge bowl. And I fill it with pineapples and mangoes and papaya and passion fruit and jackfruit and watermelon, figs. I have all these in there, oranges and grapefruit, lemons, limes. And every day I go out and I find something else to harvest. Then I feed it to the animals at my animal sanctuary where I live and eat it myself. You could do the same. Even if you live in climates that are not conducive to tropical plants, I even show you how to build your own hydroponic house, depending upon the size you have. But you can grow a substantial amount of your own fruit and vegetable needs each year. Save yourself a lot of money and have something that's fresh. You go out and you pick what you want that day. Yesterday I had a salad where I had 23 different sprouts, some spicy, aromatic, and others sweeter. And then I mixed that with at least 7 different types of baby romaine lettuce and some other greens that all of it I grow. And then you can make your own salad dressings as well. All those videos are free. How to shop, how to cook, how to prepare food, how to make unique dishes, how to exercise. All aspects of life are in there, and it's free. Just go to GaryNoll.com. So that's it for our video feed. We're going to take a break and come back, and then we'll be going to our main topics of the day and some serious, really interesting insights. Professor Neil Ferguson is going to be on today, challenging the woke culture and the dangers that are inherent in its philosophy, among other things. So you can tune in each day, go to GaryNoll.Live, and you can see the live feeds. Just go down and you'll see how to get here. Back in a moment. Please stay with us.